Always something good going on in this Pat's neighborhood.
Hello, it's time for another episode of Miss Pat's Neighborhood. I'm your host, Pat Mathison. Our first guest is no stranger to the city of Louisville. We've known Tim Findley Jr. for years as the pastor of Kingdom Fellowship Christian Life Center. But now he's assumed a new role as the founder and CEO of the Justice and Freedom Coalition. Our hidden gem today is another friend of mine, Miss Ramona Gray. She is the owner of Gigi's Impressions. And our entertainment is coming from Louisville's beloved Robin G., poet and spoken word artist. You don't want to miss this show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is George Demery, and I'm your host for Your Money Matters. We promote financial literacy. We help you to find business and education opportunities. We champion strategic thinking of how you spend your money. We want to help you to become more credit worthy. Look for ways of getting that credit number over 700. And finally, we want to help you to break away from financial slavery, debt. Join us each week right here or on demand at ssclivetv.com. SSC Live TV. Truth, justice, power, TV done our way.
Welcome back. Today, I am pleased to have in the studio with me the good Reverend Dr. Timothy Findley Jr. Most of you know him as the pastor at Kingdom Fellowship
Mm-hmm.
Christian Life Center. However, I'm going to talk to him a little bit about that, but I also wanted to talk to him about his new role as the founder of the Justice and Freedom Coalition. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. This is really nice too. So
Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
Thank you
appreciate the
for
invitation.
coming. Anytime, always.
Yes, ma'am.
Especially when you're doing such good work.
Well, thank you.
You know, that's
Thank
what
you.
we want to highlight on the show is
Yeah.
all of the good that's going on in our neighborhoods.
Yeah, it's a lot of good going on too. I think we need more opportunities like this to talk about
To
it.
share. That's right. That's right. That's why we're here. So tell us, okay, let me start off by saying I heard and I saw some of the footage. I watched your lives. You all, Kingdom Fellowship, did a vaccination clinic.
Yes.
And so tell us, how many people were you all able to vaccinate?
We got over 1,000.
Over
We got
1,000.
people.
Yes, yes.
And that was without going out in the community, without going to the grocery stores. That was social media and word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, one of the things we share is there's a spin on the narrative, and the narrative is apprehension.
Right.
But we know that it's an A, but it ain't apprehension.
Right.
We need access.
We need access.
And
Absolutely.
so once the access was there, we can get doses in arms.
We had a line of maybe 30 or 40 people at all times extended out of the building through the parking lot. People wanted the vaccination. We had to turn away people, even individuals that came from other parts of the state that were non-black and brown. They were trying to get it. So it was a great 2-day event. Great 2 days.
Wonderful, wonderful. I just enjoy seeing the COVID has forced. Some churches were out doing some work, but it's really forced us to really look at evangelism
Absolutely.
and outreach differently. So I just enjoy whenever the churches, I think, I'm speaking because I'm taping one day, but today I think they're doing one at First Gethsemane.
Yes.
And having a great turnout. I've already talked to some people. So, yeah. So
well, they finally brought us to the table. We probably should have been there a little earlier.
Should have?
Yeah, absolutely should have been. But you're seeing more and more predominantly black churches. And it's sort of ashamed that it's at this point in the game and we're just getting reached out to. We should have been doing vaccination sites day one. And then black people should have been categorized differently. We should have been 55 and over.
The tiers, yeah.
Yeah, it was just, but I won't rant on that.
Right, because this is a positive show.
It is, but I was about to just kick some stuff over and go crazy, so I won't do that on your show. I won't do that.
Okay, so let's talk about the Justice and Freedom Coalition.
Yes.
So I know that, everybody knows that we've experienced quite a bit of civil unrest in our city. And, I spoke with Hannah Drake and some other people just talking about the voice of Black America as it relates here in Louisville.
Yeah, well, the Justice and Freedom Coalition was really birthed out of the Breonna Taylor situation, the murder. And it's something that I've been thinking about for some time. And it just seemed as though 2020, everything that was going on, that was the perfect time to really launch this faith-based protest movement that wouldn't stay simply protest, but really start to transition into policy. So it's been a really, really amazing journey. We've got like-minded people that sort of share the same vision that we have, and I think it fills sort of a void that you can be a person of faith, a Christian, and still be active in protest, still be demanding justice. Frederick Douglass said that power concedes nothing without demands. So that's been sort of our mantra. And we're just getting started. It's not just protesting in the streets, but I just appeared in Frankfurt contesting a bill. We're going to do more and more of that. And I think that's where we need to see more leadership, especially allowing people an opportunity, people of faith, to kind of engage. So.
Yeah, and I totally agree with, and that's the reason why I really like doing this show, is because I think a part of the Black community's issue is we're not exposed to a lot of the things, and then when we are exposed, some don't understand. So that's the reason I appreciate the Justice and Freedom Coalition, because it helps bring understanding.
Absolutely.
And not just with, I think everybody kind of is now understanding what these local elections really mean. We watched that school board.
School board meeting.
Yeah, so now,
shout out to Dr. Scholl, too.
Shout out to him.
That's my boy. I actually texted him the next day, and I ain't going to say what I said, but I was like, my man. But I didn't say my man, but I was like, yeah.
But, so, and I just think, if that's something, especially the older generation who you might expect should have already known this stuff, but maybe doesn't. I just think that this new generation that's coming in is really exposing some stuff and making us take a second look at it, which is good.
Yeah, it is. And I think, even going back to the civil rights movement, one of the things that Dr. King was adamant about, and you look at the 63 letter from the Birmingham jail, he not only dealt with evangelicals and white moderates, but he really dealt with Black apathy. And I think a lot of times we can become so comfortable with the boat being smooth, or we think it's smooth, that when someone comes along and begins to agitate and rock the boat, like a Dr. Lewis Coleman, we sort of shun them. But really nothing changes, nothing will change until you have people who are committed, in faith, but also committed to agitate whatever needs to change.
So where do you see yourself in this whole?
I know what's going on.
Because I've talked to several people, and they've likened, you have been by far the most vocal Black preacher, pastor in our city.
Well, I'll say this. There have been a lot of pastors that are vocal, a lot of pastors that are supporting and pushing.
Exactly.
And I'm thankful for an opportunity to represent and stand on the shoulders of some really, really mighty men and women. like Dr. Cosby, who I came and preached a few weeks ago, and he gave me one of the most scary but amazing introductions. I said, he's going to get me shot. But people like Dr. Cosby, Dr. Bruce Williams, Dr. Malone, others, they provide an opportunity for people like me and Dr. Corey Scholl and Pastor Mario Martin and others.
Right.
For me, protest has been important, and I keep alluding to this. Now it's about policy, and I'm starting to understand more and more that if you want to see change at a policy level, you've got to not only be in the room, you've got to not only be at the table, but you may need to be at the head of the table. So that's, in the next week or so, I'll be publicly talking about what's coming.
I wasn't going to ask you to say it.
What's funny is when I came into the building, the wonderful lady at the front desk, she was on the phone and said, Pastor Findley's here, and somebody wants to talk to you. And I took the phone up with a gentleman. He said, hey, what you running for? So,
just like that.
Literally when I just came in.
That's the question on everybody's mind. But I wasn't going to ask you because I understand the process and making sure everything is set. And but I don't know. I see. I think everybody sees, and we need. A lot of times during the protest, people were calling for a leader.
Yeah.
And everybody had their idea of who the leader should be and why isn't this happening. And I just wanted to sit back. We had a meeting early on, and you know what happened in the meeting.
Yeah.
It was like,
yeah.
Okay, well, so then.
And they still mad at me.
I talked to Hannah. Yeah, they're gonna be mad. I talked to Hannah, and we just talked about understanding your role. Everybody has one, but we all need to understand it. And everybody can't be the leader.
And that point that everybody has a place. I even think about early on when Mr. McAtee was killed. That day down at 26 and Broadway.
Yeah.
And we're down there and the tensions are high. There's a standoff coming. We're trying to get people as calm as can be. And I remember you coming and singing in the middle of a tension-filled moment, and literally your voice and your song, I'm holding the mic, I'm holding the megaphone, you singing, and people, you can see a palpable change. You can see people's emotions starting to come down. Yeah. Not that they lost passion, but just that soothing moment. And I think it illustrates that everybody has a role.
Everybody has a role.
Because just your singing in that moment may have saved somebody's life, and it's a very, very important point.
Yeah. So I'm praying, for that we all will at least get to a point to where we recognize that we all have a part in this.
Yeah.
And some of there can be no leader if there are no followers.
Right.
So it's just that simple.
Yeah,
but I just,
And just finding your role.
Finding your role and
Hannah,
being the best.
who's amazing, has a role. And all these wonderful people that, I think that's where they count on us not being together in that way. And I think if we can
they've relied on it for years.
For years, absolutely.
And we've satisfied it.
Absolutely. And and even with the crabs in the barrel mantra, and I'm always one that I try to look at things differently, that we put so much attention on the crabs in the barrel mentality, but we never talk about who put the crabs in the barrel. And that's the issue, that maybe instead of us focusing in on what the crabs are doing in the barrel, we might need to come together and destroy the barrel, because we were never supposed to be in that. So we need people that can focus the collective energy of people against some of these structures and systemic issues. So.
Yeah. Well, thank God for you.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me.
Thank God for you. I'm going to be praying for you, and I'm encouraging everybody else to keep this young
keep praying for me.
Martin.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus. Now my dad goes here, right?
Yeah.
So I'm praying for y'all's whole church. The whole ministry. I'm lifting y'all up in prayer.
Shout out to Timothy.
Shout out to my
Findley
father.
Senior.
Senior. Let me borrow $20, please.
This your child. All right. Well, I thank you so much for joining us, and I'm sure we'll have you back when you're ready to let the world know what we're going to do here. What we're doing here.
We're going to do something.
All right. Well, we're going to be right back with my hidden gem, Miss Ramona Gray. Stay tuned.
Hi, good people. I'm Karen McKnight, and I'm host of the program, Lord's Temple Fitness. On the program where we will practice yoga, meditation, and breathing techniques so we can tap into the body's own natural healing abilities so that we really can feel better, and I can teach you how. So be sure to join us every week right here or on demand at ssclivetv.com. SSC Live TV, it's TV out.
Welcome back. I'm going to share this disclaimer right off the bat and forewarn you all that being in her presence will immediately cause you to shop. Please welcome my guest, Ramona Gray.
Thank you for having us, Ms. Pat. And that is true. It will. Shopping just comes along with the territory.
Yes, she's been on the set for 15 minutes and I've already bought something. So just know you will shop. And she's got some wonderful pieces. But I, want to jump in and just talk about the name Gigi's Impressions. How did you come up with that?
Gigi's Impressions could be anything. It could be gift giving, as we've given you a gift today. It could be gorgeous girls. It can be get it girls. But Gigi's is actually gray and gray. So it could be whatever you want it to be, with the last name being Gray and Gray. But it's whatever fits the bill at that point. Gorgeous girls, get it girl, gift giving, but it's Gigi's Impressions.
Okay. And I want to shout out Gerald Gray, Gigi.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite people in the world.
I don't know which one's higher because he is crazy about Miss Pat. Yes.
I think he was the first one, I think down in the gym, when you first started doing the jewelry, he was bringing it around. He was like, you want to buy something?
Yes,
I was like,
yes.
okay,
He made sure, Miss Pat wants this one. I was like, okay.
I done brought artwork from the Gray.
Yes, and we appreciate you. We really, really do. So when you made the phone call and said, can I come out? Absolutely,
well,
yes.
Thank you so much
for having me.
Thank you. So tell us about some of the items. You have so many signature pieces that I really love.
Yeah, it's just all about fashion and fashion statements. And that's what you say, signature pieces, just being a statement piece. One of the pieces that we brought out today was this lavender collection, and we have a necklace to complement it. So it's just, making a statement without actually even saying anything. In a conversation piece, so many times people have walked into a room and they was like, Ramona, they talked about the piece that I had on and I love it and thank you so much. So, they are statement pieces, but they're also conversation pieces as well.
Nice. So, tell me where are you located, and then talk about where people can purchase.
Well, we are online at gigisimpressions.com. We also have vendor shows. We have pop-up shops throughout the Louisville area. We just had a pop-up show last week. And so, but you can always find us at gigisimpressions.com. We're also on social media. Our handles are Gigi's Impressions. We're on Facebook and Instagram. And we're in their homes. If someone wants a personal showing, we like to bring that personal experience to the client as well.
Yeah. So let's talk about this top and this necklace that you have on. Is that a part of your collection?
This is a part of my collection.
Nice.
So the necklace and the shirt are both a part of our Gigi's Impressions collection. So I had to make sure that, we brought something out of our catalog so that way that the audience could see what we carry.
Right. Now talk to me about these pieces.
So many different people, whether they want something with a pearl, but they just want some type of pop to the pearl. Sometimes you want something a little bit more classy as far as this blue iced out piece here, or sometimes someone wants something really extravagant. We are here to make sure that we just fill the void of the masses. Fashion is just so much fun. We want to bring the fun. A lot of times individuals will say, well, I don't know, I'm not really into it, I'm this, am I next that, but once they really get into a statement piece, they really start to love it, and like I said, it becomes a conversation when they're out in public. Whether they're going, and I get so many inquiries, Ramona, I need something for a wedding. Ramona, I need something for a gala I'm going to. Or nowadays it's like, Ramona, I'm just going to the grocery store. And when I go out, I want to look fabulous. So, we can fit the bill whichever, fits the needs for the client, the customer. Yeah.
And that is so true, because I'm one for, I don't want to have to say anything. When I walk into a room, now, with the bald head, I automatically get the stare. But
Which
with
is fierce, yes.
Yes,
lovely.
but with a fashion piece, honey, people be like, who is she? Where is she?
It just is
and
a
I love it.
Yes, it's definitely a conversation, And I've had so many individuals that have been like, Mona, just really is not me, I don't do too much. But when they purchase a piece, they usually come back because they are like, it was just, I got so much attention, and, everybody wanted to know where I got this piece from. So, it just was fun. It's just conversation. It's fun. And that's what we want to do. Like, even with our pop-up shows, it's just like a girls' day out. We bring the fashion and everything, but we have so much fun, going through and saying, what about this piece, but what about this piece? And somebody else might be like, girl, get them both. If you don't, I'm going to get them both, so it just makes it fun. You just want to be fun with the fashion pieces. Yes, absolutely.
Well, you just gave me another idea, because I'm thinking,
you thinking? What you thinking?
I'm thinking, girl,
thinking?
Because I did the foot detox yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm thinking of having like a little foot detox party, and then I can have you bring some fashion pieces, and we can sit around and talk and buy some jewelry. So it's lots of stuff we can do.
so much fun. Just the collaboration. If somebody's even having a housewarming, it's just like, bring the fashion to the house, just doing some things just to make it fun. And in today's time, that's what it's all about. We just have to, reinvent the wheel, make some fun out of it, and that's what we're here to do. Even though we've been doing it for a while, we're transitioned to meet the people where they are. And, with the pop-up shows, just like you said, somebody might be like, you know what, come in. I'm just going to have some friends over. And so we're there to meet their needs. We're online. We have the pop-up shows. We have the vendor shows. Just wherever, the audience is at, we're there to meet their needs.
Okay. And she came with gifts.
Absolutely.
That's always
Gorgeous
wonderful.
Gifts.
Yes.
Gigi's.
So tell me about this picture. I love it.
One thing, like, I think with the picture, it's my mother, and it's a picture of my auntie that's deceased. So my mom and I, they just love to shop. They was always shopping. They was always in fashion. And, one of the things about my mom, she was one of the ones that was not going anywhere, but she was always dressed from head to toe. She really was. It was like, where is Miss Hatcher going today? It's like 2 Walgreens. Where is Miss Hatcher going today? 2 Super X, wherever she was going. And she was always dressed. So, as I thought about a logo and what to use, and I wanted to make it personable, I was like, I always, as a little girl, would see this picture that they drew of my aunt and my mother. And so I was like, you know what? I want that to symbolize my business, because they were the ones that was always like going shopping, and my mother would be like, model for me. She would bring home the clothing or the statement pieces, and she would just say, model it for me. So what else to use but those individuals around you? So definitely had to incorporate her, because I can't say I got it all for myself. It was just seeing her every day dressed up, whether she was going to work, to church. She would lay them outfits out and be ready for the next day, whatever it was.
And I know you all heard her mention the name Hatcher. Yes, she's a Hatcher.
Yes.
And it's so funny, because I remember your dad in my aunts and them buying insurance.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I got a picture this week from one of my girlfriends. She was her aunt, she was going through a collection. Her aunt had passed away, and so she was going through a collection of photos, and she sent me over a photo of my dad, and it's so much fun when you hadn't seen those photos, and he was like in the parade, and I was like, Daddy could have at least changed clothes or whatever. He was still dressed up with his tie. I was like, it's a parade on Broadway. But anyway, so, just seeing him in the parade, so it's always good to have that connection there. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.
I appreciate you.
All right.
And I look forward to doing more business.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right. We're going to be right back, and we're going to hear from Robin G.
lot of things that even happen to us are not even for us. A lot of the tragedy, the pain, the failures, different things that you're going through are not even for you. They're for you to use later to bless somebody else, to encourage someone else, to push somebody else forward. We're going to continue to work on righteous and just processes, because Let's Rap is important, because we talk about personal life experiences and we bring them together and we tell you of principles that you can do to make you a better person, because this is what it's all about.
Listen, I've said it before and it bears repeating. We have some of the most talented people in the city of Louisville. And today is no different. I've got with me Miss Robin G. And I'm going to talk to her a little bit before you hear from her, because she not only is a poet and a spoken word artist, she's also an author and an entrepreneur. And I want you to tell everyone about your new collection, the Stanza Collection.
Yes, so I have statement apparel inspired by my original poetry. I'm wearing a crew neck sweatshirt, I am worthy of my own magic. It's usually just one-liners. It's just to be a walking inspiration to yourself and for everyone you encounter, because you may have needed this reminder that you are worthy of your own magic. And it's called The Stanza Collective by Robin G.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And you can find it at thestanzacollective.com.
thestanzacollective.com. All right, you all don't disappoint. Go out and purchase a statement piece from the Stanza Collective. Yes. And now you're going to hear something very special from my special guest, Miss Robin G.
In this moment, I am not your superwoman. I am not the definition of strength. My resilience has gone astray, and I cannot stay where you tend to try and keep me. I struggle with where to lay down my burdens, this overwhelming load that weighs down upon this thorn crown that you have subconsciously placed upon my head. There is sadness here, and although it only resonates as anger, I am not angry. My scowl is not the representation of an angry black woman. I have been misidentified, and this stigma that society has placed upon my sisters and I is unforgiving and relentless. I am sad, upset, and tearful, and as a black woman, I am standing here trying to comprehend what you are asking of me. Why must we always be defensive in regard to your need to differentiate anger from sadness? I am not blue. I am a black woman suffering from clinical depression, and there is a lesson here. My illness is not taboo, nor is it a sign of weakness, but I tend to not seek treatment because I've been sworn to secrecy. Because what happens in this house stays in this house. And unbeknownst to our mothers who have subconsciously hindered the desire to seek help for our troubles, we struggle with distorted images of ourselves because mental health issues aren't taken to heart. And of the 17 to 20 million Americans that seek therapy, I am one of 4% that would never take part. No, I have never been to war per your definition of the term, but I am a black woman who suffers from post-traumatic stress, from having to bear witness to the judicial lynching of my people in this 21st century. I've watched little black boys lay in puddles of their own blood uncovered. I have watched women of my likeness be murdered, and I've had to praise a black man with the same breath I used to beg him to not rape me, degrade me, or treat me less than I deserve. I am raising little black babies that I am afraid to send to the store. I have locked myself behind closed doors in fear of facing the world in which I live, and on some days I've had to find the strength to physically move my limbs. I am a strong black woman who has contemplated suicide. I've hidden the scars of self-inflicted wounds beneath the seams of tapered clothing that insinuate that I am holding it together just fine when sometimes I can't even breathe because it seems as if the darkness is closing in on me. I am indeed the epitome of everything that I am meant to be, but in this moment, I am not your superwoman. I am not the definition of strength. My resilience has gone astray, and I cannot stay where you tend to try and keep me. And it is okay for me not to always be okay, because I am not your superwoman.
There is always something good going on in this Pat's neighborhood.